Let's explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and we got to stop saying Happy Monday. Mondays suck. Today's Monday sucks anyway. It's just Mondays always feel like you have a case of the Mondays. It's probably why they say it. You need to start normalizing saying, hey, shitty Monday, instead of Happy Monday. Okay, let's start there. News-wise, obviously the Epstein files. Everybody's going nuts over that. So we'll talk about it a little bit more, because, you know, I've noticed some things about people on the internet, confirmed some things about people on the internet. People don't know what proof means. Number one, people are just so, Twitter's broken. Like, I don't even know where to go with this because I'm just so flabbergasted by what I'm seeing online with the release of the Epstein files. But we'll get into it, whatever. I'm not gonna start the show on a bad note. So on a good note, I built a snow fort yesterday with my kids, so that was fun. Need a little bit more snow, though. Maybe we'll get some today. I don't know. Benny Schwartz showed up late. Phil Scarborough, the Epstein files are retarded. Yes, they are. You got it. And we'll talk about that. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about the Epstein files, probably. There's one story that came out about Tulsi Gabbard I want to spend some time on as well, because they are trying to basically Russia collusion her in a way. And so that's interesting. Richard Rohr says, embrace the suck. Yeah. And there's just a couple random stories. I don't have a ton. Bass Burns, I was touched by the Epstein files. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get into that, and then I'll send you guys over to Wycromes when this is over. Phil Scarborough, Bongino said this morning that basically the Epstein files are not what people think they were. I feel like we've been saying that. Cash said that in June on his Joe Rogan interview last year. But nobody wants to believe it. Yet everybody's operating like it's confirmation. We haven't seen confirmation of shit that these people have been talking about out of these files so far. Nothing. Nurse Betty says I deactivated my X account this past weekend. Good for you. I can't get myself to do it. I mean, I suppose I could still use Twitter while not being on Twitter. And like, because if anything at this point, like, I post things that I find interesting, but I'm not nearly as active with posting like digs and stuff. I just don't care. I don't care for the algorithm game or the money game like people in there do. But as I said on the DPH this weekend, and I had a post about it maybe yesterday, the monetization of Twitter is a bug, not a feature. And I mean that because people don't care about facts. They don't care about the truth. They just care about the clicks. And then like posting things that feed their own confirmation bias and the confirmation bias of their audience. And it's one big circle jerk. That's all it is. Jackie's, oh, it's Cam's birthday. Happy birthday, Cam. I didn't know that. That's cool. Well, somebody put that on my calendar. John says you can't leave, or Bass Burns says you can't leave X. I'm Dan Bacon on X. That's my actual name. Lovio's posted around. I don't know where else we'll go, but I get the monetized stupidity argument. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's get a quick word from our sponsors, though, before I complain too much and scare all y'all off. First up, we got Scales Gear. These guys are great. We have so many good sponsors. We really do. Wear your freedom proudly and celebrate America in style with Scales Freedom Collection. Scales offers a line of long sleeve performance shirts, butter soft tees, and hats with ocean-inspired patriotic prints. Every piece is designed to keep you cool, protected, and proud to be an American. Shop now at badlandsmedia.tv/scales and enter the code BADLANDS at checkout for 20% off your next purchase. badlandsmedia.tv/scales. And we also got Van Man in the mix today. You know about Van Man taking down big toothpaste with all natural oil kill, right? What did I just say? Oil kill, right? That was a weird phrase. Let me start. No, what? I need to start over. Collect myself. Start over. You know about Van Man taking down big toothpaste with all natural oral care, right? It's the perfect time to grab the dental care bundle to gift. Van Man's tooth powder is loaded with minerals like eggshells and bone and combined with pulling oils and peppermint aloe mouth rinse. It's truly the ultimate fluoride-free dental hygiene bundle that saves you 25% off the individual prices. And the van never stops, introducing Van Man's new Pearl Eye Cream and Sweet Onion Shampoo. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv/vanman to see what's new. That's badlandsmedia.tv/vanman. Mondays are bad reading days too, guys, so brace yourselves. We get a quick word from Soft Disclosure as well, and then we'll get to it.
The following ad is rated M for mature. Soft Disclosure wants you to get naked this Valentine's Day with limited edition his and her bundles that save you 20% off the individual retail prices. Proprietary oil infusions, grass-finished beef tallow, goat's milk from American goats, locally grown herbs and ingredients. Soft Disclosure is putting America First fruits on your skin.
And for these sexy bundles, we've added an all-new boar's haired beard brush and a solid jade gua sha. And the reason I'm here is because Alpha doesn't know how to say these words.
Gusha. His, hers. We need a moment to calm down. Don't hide your skin. Disclose it. Get naked this Valentine's Day with Soft Disclosure. Head over to softdisclosure.com and save 20% off individual retail prices with our his and hers customizable bundles, and use promo code NAKED to save 15% off the rest of the site. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Promo code does not apply to bundle discounts.
You know, for all my flaws, at least I don't say Valentine's Day. So that's a win. Ash, what's up? Damn it, late. Did I miss anything important besides Valentine's presents, of course? Get your Valentine's gifts, everybody. Yeah, get yourself some Valentine's Soft Disclosure. No, Ash, you didn't miss anything, but I'm about to complain about the Epstein files. So they came out, was it Thursday, Friday? Like a huge release, 3 million files. Everybody spent the weekend digging through them. And there are interesting things in the Epstein files. Guys, not like there's interesting things in there. I've been searching through them for random things. I love this is what I do. I love digging through documents and files and whatever. And the one thing, this is going to sound terrible, and I'm probably going to get shit for this, but the one thing I haven't seen from anybody yet posted online is any actual proof of a sex trafficking ring. Like, weird thing to say, I know, but have yet to see any actual proof. And keyword there is proof. Like, I'm not saying Epstein was innocent of anything. I'm not saying that Epstein was a good guy. I'm not saying Epstein did inappropriate things with women. But I have yet to see anybody post anything, and I haven't found anything in the Epstein files in my digging through myself that have any kind of proof of a trafficking ring. And even our private chat that we have for like Badlanders, the Badlands hosts, like Ghost was kind of posting things about it. And I was like, well, that's not proof. Like that's a conversation about, they're paying for women to come to the island. That's not proof of anything. Like people need to understand what proof means when you're presenting something as proof. And me saying this is another thing I got accused of on Twitter. This is not me defending pedophilia or a pedophile in any way. I'm not doing that. Wouldn't do that. Pedophilia is terrible. I feel like I shouldn't even have to explain myself with that. But what I'm doing is simply defending what I feel like is the truth. And maybe it's not even necessarily true. Maybe the truth is that there was a sex trafficking ring and he was a pedophile and all these things. Yes, that's probably true. But nobody's shown that through the Twitter files yet. People are posting pictures of like Epstein with a girl on his lap, like a little girl. Okay. They cropped out the mother who's standing right next to him. Does that prove he's a pedophile? I bet every single one of you has a picture with a girl on your lap. Like, I have pictures with my daughter. We don't know who that girl is. Is it family? Like, we don't know the context. All critical, yes, AOB 22 says it in the chat. All critical thinking has been completely thrown out the window with these Epstein files. You have people on the left, like never Trumpers, people who hate Elon Musk, all these things. They are all in on like, oh, Trump confirmed pedophile from the latest Epstein files where Elon Musk visited the island, all these things. And there are some email exchanges with Elon Musk and Jeffrey Epstein. They were trying to connect. Whether they did, I don't know. I haven't found that yet. Haven't seen proof of that yet. Somebody communicating with Epstein, is that it's not a great look for sure. Not proof of anything though either. And then everybody on the right is like, oh yeah, Q confirmed. This is what we've been saying forever. Like that, but they're not showing anything that proves what they're saying or what they have been saying. It's a clusterfuck. And if you wanted to like take down, maybe not take down, maybe that's the wrong way to say it. But I can't think of anything more discrediting to everybody. Everybody looks like a retard over the Epstein files. Rise of Tire. Proof wouldn't be in the public files, though. It would be in sealed court docs at this point. Proof should not be in the public. Okay, that's great. But that is not how social media and people are operating. They are treating what they're reading as proof when it is very clearly not proof of anything. Alabama Christian, John's attitude is always so bright and cheery. I'm so glad to be here. I'm not like, this isn't called the Sunshine and Rainbow Show. Like, I'm not trying to just make people happy. I'm just speaking my mind, and I don't know what else to say. Like, when people are retarded, it pisses me off. And it's not even the fact that people are retarded. I know people are going to be retarded. It's that people are like eating it up. And you're making yourselves look retarded to your friends. Like everybody's been waiting on the Epstein file because it's gonna prove to them and prove they're gonna be able to send things to their friends and prove to them like, see, I told you all along that I was right about these things. Now listen to everything else I've been right about. You can't do that with what we've gotten out of the Epstein file so far. You can't. They haven't gotten proof of shit. Bro, people's unassumed email monitoring is pretty fucking damning. What do you mean by that? Matthew Trump, this is a point of maturity of our entire movement, what John is saying. Yeah, and I feel like we've handled this pretty responsible. We're not perfect, obviously. We don't know everything, but I feel like we've approached the Epstein files like we've approached everything. We've approached it objectively. We've been saying for a long time it's a rug. We're not going to get the meat and potatoes that everybody thinks it is. Like, what if? And by the way, when we've said this over the last year now that it's been going on, people have been upset at us. Like, oh, you whatever. Once it all comes out, you're going to be eating those words. It's all out now, and you guys, well, I'm not eating anything. We've been right about the Epstein files. It isn't what you guys thought it was. It's not my fault that people got onto that rug so long ago and made it to be this big thing. And maybe it is that thing. But if it is that thing, we didn't get the proof of it in this latest release. And that's not my fault. So don't shoot the messenger. It's not my fault. And this is a common reaction from people when we warn them of a rug, they get mad at us. And then when it's proven to be a rug that they got all on board on and got the rug pulled out from under them, they get mad at us again for pointing out that, yeah, we told you about the rug. You jumped on the rug. You fell for the rug. You look like an asshole now, but somehow that's still our fault. Fuck that. Sick of that shit. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Ash says, oh, cool. BB and I did that for 3 hours. You guys talked about the Epstein files too? Oh, I didn't even think of that, PJ. How cliche is it that Cam's birthday kicks off Black History Month? Do you think his parents planned that? Benny Schwartz says, I can tell you that the recent drops have the normies' eyes opened to pizza and child sacrifice. But why is that? Because that's not in the files. Like there hasn't been an email that's come out of the Epstein files that I've seen anyway that are like, see proof of child sacrifice. I'm not, again, not saying they didn't do that. I'm saying the files that we have not shown that. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like that's, it's like we need a lesson in what is proof. Let's see, bro. I still don't understand that email monitoring comment you made, PJ. Dragon 45, and your mind sounds negative much of the time, but I get it. It's frustrating. Yeah, I don't know how to help you with that. Like, I'm not here to feed anybody's confirmation bias. And the reality sometimes sucks. Like most times it sucks. Resitary, yeah, people don't think about proof being needed in court, but they want arrests and proof in the public files. Can't have both people. And also, what if there is no further investigations? Like, what if this is it? Cash has said repeatedly that it's not what you thought it was. And if there was any like proof or evidence, which that's another thing. There's a clip that I got tagged in. Somebody's like, oh, you're covering for Kash Patel and Trump. Like, covering him how? Like, oh, well, he perjured himself and you're not calling him out. Based on what we've seen, he didn't perjure himself. Let me show you this clip. This is what everybody's pointing to.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Who, if you...
That's not perjury, guys. Based on what we've seen, that's not perjury. We haven't seen a trafficking ring from the Epstein files. I like this comment from Bay Theater Dave says, the morning show, MOUR, like as in a mourning, like let's mourn the loss of something. That's great. The King BC is John calling out ghosts from a private chat. Check my head. I didn't call him out. I was like, we were doing this exercise. I was like, okay, what are you seeing? Like, because he made a comment about I think it was his normie friends or something, talking about proof of trafficking or something. I was like, because I haven't seen a single thing. Like, so what are you seeing? Show me. And so he was like, show me stuff. I was like, well, that's not proof. Like, that's what it was. I'm not calling him out. Anarchy, if the truly damning stuff is in court docs, great. I hope that's true. It's still stupid to be claiming these drops prove anything. John, everything's your fault. I'll take it. Josh explained it well last night on Q After Hours. What did he say on Q After Hours? I didn't get to watch it. You're not feeding our confirmation bias very well right now. Ash, no, John. When they release the videos, you're going to eat those words. That's moving the goalposts. Because even Elon said that. He's like, they need to release the videos with like the victim's faces blurred out or something. And so that's the next push now. It's like, okay, we got all the files, but I know they didn't prove anything, but now we just need those videos. Now we just need the next thing. And it's going to go on and on and on because people cannot accept reality that maybe they've been misled about what was in the files in the first place. People don't want to do it. So here we are. Trump called it a hoax, guys. And it's so weird to me too, like the Q community and how. And when I say that, guys, when I say like the Q community, I'm in my head, like I'm not talking about it as a whole. I'm in my head, I'm thinking of a very specific subset of douchebags, and I get to call them douchebags because of what they have done to me in Badlands personally. They are douchebags. They're liars. They're frauds. They're motherfuckers. Okay, but these people. Oh, what was I just saying? I had a really good point. Dang it. I lost my own train of thought because I got angry. That's the worst. Shoot. I was going to make a really good point. Maybe it'll come back to me, but probably not. So never mind. Let's keep reading chat. If Q had the dirt, why the fuck would they not have pulled the trigger? Josh explained it like a report of a 10-legged alien, and people believe it because it was reported. They won't disclose documents in an ongoing investigation. Maybe, but that's an excuse we always go back to, isn't it? Like, how many ongoing investigations have we been pointing to as an excuse? Every time. It's like, okay, well, where's the proof of it, guys? Well, they're obviously not going to disclose that. It's an ongoing investigation. It's like a cop-out people use when they don't want to think logically about something. We will talk about the op against Tulsi. It isn't about proof, but narrative here. Yeah, I mean, I understand we're in a narrative warfare, and people are going to try to spin the narrative on both sides, but the only way to, like, not get in the mix of a narrative warfare, like not fall victim to it, is just to seek the truth, which is what I'm trying to do. And I will be happily proven wrong. If you guys can dig through the files and find something that proves the trafficking ring that everybody's talking about, I will eat my words. Like, great, there's the proof. But I'm yet to see it. The little she's been running with hearsay shit from the files. I believe Trump called it a hoax, so we'd look into it more. Sex trafficking at Super Bowl, and he bought an ad about children for the Super Bowl. Is that true? You know what? That's another thing. I saw some interesting dynamics surrounding the Super Bowl. Again, from the Q fags that I keep referring to, and I'm done like mincing my words when it comes to these people because of how awful they have been, and they continue to lead people astray from what I think is the truth. Last year at the Super Bowl, everything was like full control. Look at all the comms here, all these things. We've taken over. The white hats are in control on it. And now those same people are like Bad Bunny's at the Super Bowl because it's the one thing that the black hats still have control of. Like back in September, one guy was like, he was like, Trump is going to the Super Bowl. Just wait until you see what he does while he's there. And this is like shortly after Bad Bunny was announced, I think, as the halftime show. And then just like 2 days ago, yeah, there's a reason Trump isn't going to the Super Bowl now. They can't help but contradict themselves. Richard, stop listening to other people's opinions. They don't fucking matter. I don't care about other people's opinions, but I'm going to use them as talking points on my show sometimes. What else we got? Didn't Epstein get girls for Prince Philip? Did he? Is there proof of that? Scouting for women? I don't know. And guys, like, there is talk in the files about like prostitutions and prostitutes. They brought prostitutes to the island. They like paid for prostitutes to come there, dancers and stuff. Some of those women later like sued them. or were part of these lawsuits. Again, I'm not saying they were like good, benevolent people by any means. These are a bunch of wealthy guys, did gross things, demeaned women, paid for prostitutes. But that's different than a child sex trafficking ring. You guys understand that, right? Does that make sense? And Epstein knew a fuck ton of people, too. He's got emails with like everybody. And there have been people who've resigned because of their names being in the Epstein files. There's some weird stuff in there. But it's not proof of what everybody's saying. Rise if this is all, and there's no ongoing investigations, then they're redacting names for reasons that are outside the law in current tranche docs. That doesn't seem likely, but possible, I guess. I think they were doing it for to protect like images of or names of victims and stuff. And there may be there might be ongoing investigations. I don't know for sure. Kash Patel said there wasn't. So I don't know. EHCal, Josh was talking about symbolism of pizza and certain code words being used in emails and other documents. Yeah, me and Zach did an episode on that on Basis Conspiracies. And I do believe they used that, like the code word stuff. But I don't think I've even seen necessarily proof of in the latest Epstein files release of like, oh yeah, that email, that pizza email, that looks pretty bad. Like that I could see it now. You know, I don't think I've seen one of those yet. ZBM, are we talking about the files that talk about people on a boat ripping babies up and eating bile from their intestines? Is that what you're saying isn't proof? Where is that? Because that's another thing we need to understand here what's in these files. Anybody can call in to the FBI and give a statement and be like, yeah, this is what I know is going on, or these are these things. And the FBI will take that down and look into it if they find it credible. But either way, it's like written down, it's in a report. And then because it mentions Epstein, it gets put in the files. It doesn't, just because it's in there doesn't make it true. Like myself, I am the victim currently of a lot of smear campaigns. Like a guy just wrote a fucking article about me not long ago, calling me a psychopath, a guy I've literally never spoken to. I may have met him at a GART once, but never spoken to at length. Even he wrote for Badlands Substack for a while. I didn't set it. That was all through Burning Bright, who manages the Substack. Guy doesn't know me at all. Doesn't know me at all. And yet he's writing stuff about, does him writing an article about calling me a psychopath make that true? Not in the slightest. And this is like where the Ray Chandler thing comes up too, because there was a post over the weekend, even from Jordan Sather, and I messaged with Jordan about this, and he acknowledges it. There's mentions of Ray Chandler in the Epstein files release, and people were immediately like, oh my gosh, Ray Chandler being in here is a huge Q proof. And I'm looking at the dates, and the Q drop that was shown is like May or something of 20, I don't even know the date, whatever. I don't remember the date. The Ray Chandler mentions in the Epstein files all come after the mentioning of her in the drops. And they're all in FBI like reports like, hey, I have I need to give a statement or something I know, report a crime. And so the FBI writes it down. And it doesn't prove in any way that Q knew about it ahead of time. Like if the dates were reversed, if the FBI was looking into Ray Chandler prior to the Q drop being posted, that'd be different, but they all come afterwards. And so it doesn't prove that it's not a Q proof. It's a people read the Q drops proof, more so in my opinion. Again, not saying that I don't even know her story, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know. Again, I haven't been down the Epstein rabbit hole like everybody else. But so I'm not saying she's innocent or a victim or whatever it is. I'm not saying none of that's not true. I'm saying what you're showing me doesn't prove what you're saying. Does that make sense? John, John, you were saying the Q people are douchebags because they know they're lying. Yeah, some of them know they are lying about the things they've said about me. Like these are the people that were messaging Badlands supporters, actively telling them to stop supporting Badlands. And like I have the messages. And they were telling lies to do it. Like they were telling lies to our audience, trying to actively get people to stop supporting us. I can't even imagine what they've continued to do. The people that didn't send me the messages, how many people no longer support Badlands because of the lies these people have said. Another name you guys would know is like pretending he was there at the start of Badlands. He's like, oh, I was there at the beginning. You know, John isn't the only owner of Badlands. Well, if that retard would check his text messages and go back, like just even search Badlands in his text messages, you would clearly see that I invited him to be a part of Badlands as the owner. And he wasn't part of any of the discussions. Like these people are liars. And if they're willing to do that to try to tear down Badlands, and I know I'm coming off very salty right now, but the Epstein stuff and seeing how these people are operating and handling it, I can't get over it. It's knowing these people are willing to lie about like us to try to tear us down. Imagine what else they'd lie about just to remain relevant and get on it. Like they would never admit that they've been wrong about something. I don't care how many shows you do to like, oh, we're doing a whole new Jesus show now. You're still a fucking liar, bro. You're not acting like Jesus would, no matter how many times you say you are. Show me the one thing that we can control, and I'll show you a rubber ducky. Anything to fit their own narrative, just like the mainstream media. Dragon, I don't think all Q people are retarded or bad. Wish they weren't all lumped together. That's why I'm trying to like clarify here, because I don't mean that about everybody. Like, I know, but we have some of the OG diggers and Q people in Badlands. And Alpha, Josh, Brad, Jordan, Zach, like pretty much everybody in Badlands is red Q except probably me. They're all great people. And I know people in the audience who support, like, that is a different subset of people completely than the Q fags. The Q fags I'm talking about, it's like when I say that, I may be talking about 8 people total. So maybe we should come up with a code word or something so that everybody knows I'm only referring to those specific people. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's closer to 20 people. But the effect it's having a negative effect on the movement and the awakening, I think. Everybody's just sitting there spinning their wheels, self-congratulating each other over nothing. It's almost comical. The final demands for $5 says, Trump told us it was a hoax. It's not what we think it is, meaning we aren't going to get what we think we want. As hard as that is to accept, we must accept it. Trump told you. I believe him. Yeah. And I almost feel like I've wasted time even sitting here talking about it. But in an info war, like when you see an obvious psyop being perpetrated, like you got to talk about it. You have to. Elfboy says, flying hookers from one place to another, I believe, is trafficking. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the legal definition of that, but I feel like if women are accepting money to like go to an island and do things, not great. Is that trafficking? Is that child pedophilia traffic or child trafficking? Like everybody's saying it is. That it's not that. Team Smooth for $22. Cheering your solid discernment, lack of confirmation bias, and attempt to lead us away from echo chambers. Carry on. Thank you, Team Smooth. I appreciate that. Lee Walden. Epstein was an agent for the bad guys. Blackmail was his thing. Name it. He got it done. Yeah, I mean, he was definitely surrounding himself with all the worst people. He's definitely in the mix of finance stuff. Even the blackmail thing too, like I can easily see how that's probably what he was doing to some degree, but I still haven't seen proof of that in these files. I haven't seen like any proof of the blackmail ring. that's another thing. Like, it's not that I don't want those things to be true. I would love for all these people to be right about everything. I would love for you all to be right and be able to go back to your friends and be like, yeah, see, I told you. But we haven't seen the proof of it yet. Yeah, I thought it was weird that some bad sounding emails, the recipient names are redacted. They're not victims. So what's up with that? Yeah, there's some weird redactions. And then the OCR thing that was going on, I don't remember what that stands for, but basically they take a document, they scan it, and then like for whatever reason on the scan, it's not a similar scan. It reproduces it in a way that like changes the words and stuff. That happened a lot. So there's a lot of like clickbait flying around for some of those things. Original document says bank. The next document says ball, and everybody's like, "Oh, see, we told you they were worshiping Satan over there." It's like, you just made half the people who followed that look retarded. And it's not me defending a pedophile to point that out. I'm not defending a pedophile. I'm defending the truth because that is not what that says. I'm defending people from looking retarded. That's what I'm trying to do, if anything. Because anybody who goes and takes that to a person who's not like emotionally invested in the story, and they spend any ounce of like due diligence being like, oh my gosh, really? And they look into it, they're going to come to that conclusion themselves. And then you're going to be looking retarded to them. Keith Higgins, John, for $1, this is a roller coaster ride psyop. Create a boogeyman like the Wiener laptop viewing cops. Threaten to challenge people to see the porn and not be corrupted themselves. They're calling out perverts. Yeah. I haven't seen any mention of like the Wiener laptop thing too, but maybe that's the next, like, maybe that's where they move the goalpost to. Oh, but wait till we get the Wiener laptop stuff. What do we do with that, guys? Team Smooth, damn, I ordered pizza for a gathering last month. Does that make me a pedo or a pedo helper? According to the internet, yeah. And that's another, like, people are like, oh, Putin is mentioned 1,000 times in the emails. Because if anybody looked through the emails, there's a million news story links in there. Like, so any news story that mentions Putin is gonna populate. Let me show you an example. Let's do Putin. How do I get this back up? There we go. This is not the best example because this is Russia key headline from Putin Market Spring. Putin says 1954 Crimea handover was unconstitutional. This is sharing kind of a news story. This is probably a better example. This is in the files. Mentions Putin. But you do this like with anybody, any major like famous person, Trump. Trump's name is in there a lot, but guess what? Most of them are in these stories. There was some conversations back and forth. Bannon texting, that's an interesting development. Bannon was like text between him and Epstein came out. We know he did the documentary. I think the 2 hours of the documentary have come out. Haven't watched it yet. But on the heels of Bannon's mentioning in the files, you get this. Trump posts on True Social. Two very good guys who were treated so unfairly by sleepy Joe Biden, but now they are bigger than ever, President Donald J. Trump. Is this like him coming to the defense of Bannon a little bit? It kind of feels that way. But I don't know. Trump on True Social, it's just funny to me more than anything. Not going to take it as an endorsement or not. This is what Trump said about the Epstein files. Man, when did this come out? This is just 22 minutes ago. Not only wasn't I friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, but based upon information that has just been released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and a sleazebag lying author named Michael Wolff conspired in order to damage me and or my presidency. So much for the radical left's hope against hope, some of whom I'll be suing. Additionally, unlike so many people that like to talk trash, I never went to the infested Epstein Island, but almost all these crooked Democrats and their donors did. Donors is a big one there. I think he mentioned it again earlier too. Talks about the Grammys. I don't want to get into that. Okay, I'm going to move on from the Epstein stuff. I feel like I've bitched enough. It's already 42 minutes into the show, and there's a lot I want to get into yet. No update on the Doge website. Silver is like cratered an insane amount the last few days, and here we are. Bitcoin also down. It's at 78.5. No update on the presidential website other than Trump saying he's going to have a race around the White House, basically. See if they can pull it off. This is one of the more interesting stories I want to get into. There's a classified whistleblower complaint about Tulsi Gabbard that stalls within her agency. Congress hasn't seen the complaint, which was filed 8 months ago with U.S. Intelligence Community's Watchdog Office. I'm going to miss a lot of comments in the chat while I read through this real quick, so apologies, but I will get back to you guys shortly. Washington, a U.S. intelligence official has alleged wrongdoing by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in a whistleblower complaint that is so highly classified it has sparked months of wrangling over how to share it with Congress, according to U.S. officials and others familiar with the matter. The filing of the complaint has prompted a continuing behind-the-scenes struggle about how to assess and handle it, with the whistleblower's lawyer accusing Gabbard of stonewalling the complaint. Gabbard's office rejects that characterization, contending it is navigating a unique set of circumstances and working to resolve the issue. A cloak and dagger mystery reminiscent of a John le Carre novel. Literally never heard of that guy, so I don't know what kind of novels he writes. But is swirling around the complaint, which is said to be locked in a safe. Disclosure of its contents could cause grave damage to national security, one official said. It also implicates another federal agency beyond Gabbard's and raises potential claims of executive privilege that may involve the White House officials, or that may involve the White House officials said. And so even just right off the bat, like it's so classified, disclosure of it could cause grave damage to national security. Who's the one telling them the story? Like what official is telling them the story? The complaint was filed last May with the Intelligence Community's Inspector General, according to a November letter that the whistleblower's lawyer addressed to Gabbard. The letter, which was viewed by the Wall Street Journal, accused Gabbard's office of hindering the dissemination of the complaint to lawmakers by failing to provide necessary security guidance on how to do so. In a statement, a spokeswoman for Gabbard's office confirmed that the complaint concerned Gabbard, but dismissed it as baseless and politically motivated. The timing of this is not lost on me, by the way, guys. And I'll come back to my comments on this. I want to get through a couple more paragraphs because it'll make more sense. The whistleblower's lawyer, Andrew Bakaj, and Gabbard's office also disagreed on whether the Inspector General had made any determinations about the credibility of the complaint. A representative for the Inspector General said the office had determined specific allegations against Gabbard weren't credible, while it couldn't reach a determination on others. Bakaj said he was never informed that any determinations were reached. Gabbard has been an enigmatic figure in the Trump administration, sidelined from major national security matters and tasked with investigating the results of 2020 election that President Trump lost. The November letter from Bakaj was shared with the House and Senate intelligence panels, making them aware of the complaint's filing for the first time. Months later, lawmakers still haven't received the complaint itself. Some Democratic staffers on the intelligence committees have tried to learn more about the complaint in recent weeks with little success. The complaint is so highly classified that Bakaj said he hasn't been able to view it himself. Like the guy's lawyer wasn't even able to view it. The Wall Street Journal couldn't learn the substance of the allegations. Representatives for the Senate and the House Intelligence Committees declined to comment. The delay on sending to Congress is without known precedent, blah, 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 blah. The Inspector General is generally required to assess whether the complaint is credible within 2 weeks of receiving it. An employee alleging wrongdoing is allowed to share the complaint directly with congressional intelligence committees as long as the Director of National Intelligence provides instructions on how to securely transmit it. There's no requirement or precise timeline on doing so. Gabbard answered written questions about the allegations from the Inspector General's office, senior official at the spy agency said. That prompted the acting Inspector General at the time, Tamara Johnson, to determine the allegations specifically about Gabbard weren't credible. So like 14 paragraphs in, like, oh yeah, these allegations, they weren't even credible. But this whole story is like, there's this damning piece of information against Tulsi Gabbard. But you don't get to know what it is, and neither do we, and nobody does. But there are damning allegations, and we're in an awkward situation because the only way that anybody gets to learn about them, even Congress, is if Tulsi Gabbard allows Congress to have access to the highly classified stuff, which could totally royal Washington. But trust us, they're real. Even though she answered questions about them to the Inspector General and he determined they weren't credible. So why hasn't Tulsi Gabbard allowed uncredible allegations about her go to Congress, even though we can't tell you what they are? Like, this whole thing is so stupid. This is very Russia collusion-y, as in something damning is put out there, and it doesn't have to be real. Like, this is totally just, we have no idea what the fuck this is. But yet the Wall Street Journal is writing about it as if this is a super damning thing against Tulsi Gabbard. And there's some huge conspiracy here keeping it under wraps. It's not much to work with, yet they're working with it. This is the type of smear campaign they love doing. And it's not lost on me the timing of this coming out right after she spotted down in Fulton County with the election stuff. How timely. Balance me. I advise my daughter to come in at the 45-minute mark because John's ranting usually finishes about that time. I appreciate his rant. So, yeah, I apologize, guys, with the swearing. I want to be able to like not swear as much to reach a younger audience, but I don't know. It is what it is. I know my mom doesn't love it, I'm sure. But everybody's heard these swear. I didn't invent the swear words. I just use them sometimes. And so I can't help it. They sure seem nervous about her being in there. They sure do. Rise a tire. But yeah, so I love these stories. What Tulsi's doing. I am still working on some sort of article. It's been like I've taken it multiple different directions, and so I have no idea when it'll be done. Maybe never. I'll be done by the time. I bet I'll be done before. No, I shouldn't say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'll say it. I'll be done before you guys get proof from the Epstein files that there was a sex trafficking ring. There, I said it. Somebody sent me this, and I thought this was interesting. The recession indicator nobody's watching just collapsed 32%. Heavy truck sales. When companies stop buying $150,000 trucks, they know something you don't. Which, like, that is really expensive for a truck. Who buys $150,000 trucks? Are these like Ford and Rams? Or are these like trucks carrying stuff across the country? Because then it makes sense. They just say trucks. They don't really specify. But anyway, here's the rule. Truck sales rising equals businesses expanding, economy strong. Truck sales flat 3+ months. Warning, growth slowing. Truck sales crashing 20+%. Recession already here. Heavy truck sales just dropped 32% year over year. Steepest decline since 2009. 2008, truck sales crashed 40%. They had the Great Recession. 2020, truck sales crashed 35%. COVID recession. Wait, didn't you just say that it was the steepest decline since 2009, 32%, but then here it has 35% for 2020. So that doesn't make sense. But anyway, trucking companies aren't buying because freight demand, okay, it's the big like semi-trucks. Freight demand is dying. Freight demand is dead because consumers stop spending. Consumers stop spending because they are broke. I feel like there's a lot of that, like people feeling broke. This isn't a leading indicator. This is a confirmation. The recession isn't coming. It's already here. Watch truck sales. Ignore the GDP growth numbers. I think something to keep eyes on, guys. Bailiff's Dick John, I had a high school English teacher that believed profanity was occasionally the only way to express a thought completely. I agree with that. And guys, kids are going to hear swear words. They do hear swear words. My 7- and 6-year-old come home from school sometimes and say a bad word. And it's really funny how they do it. They're like, I heard somebody say heck in the bathroom today. It's like, oh yeah, just, don't repeat it. Like they're going to hear swear words. And they might as well hear it from a stand-up guy like me than anybody else, right? I know there's a lot of people that don't like the swear word. Like we used to get those emails all the time. I can't send my friends to you because you swear too much. I used to get those emails all the time. And that's why when I started the show, I was like, I'm going to try my best not to swear on the show. I no longer give a fuck, if I'm being honest. If your friends have heard swear words too, life isn't pretty. People use bad words sometimes. The holier than thou thing of like, I can't share my friends with you because you swear too much. Your friends are a little pretentious, maybe. Appeals court tosses DOJ complaint against Judge Boasberg. That's super lame. The complaint announced by Attorney General Pam Bondi in July alleged Boasberg made improper remarks about President Trump during a closed-door meeting of the judicial conference. So there's another thing. Pam Bondi went on Twitter to like, we will never let anybody do things like this. And then it gets tossed out, goes nowhere. Judge blocks citizenship requirement in Trump election order. Thought this was interesting. A federal judge on Friday blocked parts of President Trump's executive order on elections, barring certain federal agencies from requesting citizenship status when distributing federal voter registration forms. This blows my mind. Like, you're going to vote in like a United States election, and we can't even ask you, and like, you don't even have to tell us the truth on the question, but like, we can't even ask you whether or not you're a citizen. Like, how ridiculous is that? You can't force somebody to be like, well, I'm an illegal, and this question here is asking me if I'm a citizen or not. I have to answer this accurate. Like, the question itself doesn't even matter, because if illegal aliens, non-citizens of the United States, probably aren't going to answer it truthfully anyway, if it's going to affect their vote or ability to vote in the fake elections and steal elections from whatever. But we can't even put the question on there. Some poor judgment from that judge, in my opinion. Miss Colleen Catelli. Oh, hyphenated name, too. You know she's a lib. Yeah, appointee of Bill Clinton. There you go. And no, not every hyphenated name is a liberal, but it is a common thing where they're like, I need to keep my own last name because women's rights or whatever. You know, she's lippy. She's lippy at home. And her wife probably gets real annoyed sometimes when she talks back. Anarchy. Hey, John, what's going on with Don Lemon? He was charged. Charges were dropped. Not he charged. Now he's charged, but he's out on zero bail. Yeah, I don't think the charges were originally dropped. I just think they couldn't get a judge to like sign off on them. Honestly, like, I haven't been fully following the Don Lemon rug for a lot of reasons. We talked about a little bit on Saturday too, the whole KKK act or the FACE Act. Was it the FACE Act or I don't remember which act it was, but Chris made a good point. It's like, yes, it's illegal to disrupt churches, but the only reason that was even put in the act was so that we couldn't do the same thing at abortion clinics. I mean, I don't know. And like, I don't like Don Lemon. I definitely don't like people like disrupting church services. I think that you should not be allowed to do that. That should be a crime. But I'm also not going to like get all hot and bothered over it. I feel like that's what he would want. I feel like Don Lemon would want me hot and bothered over his arrest. And Trump is saying he might sue Trevor Noah. Yeah, Trevor Noah talked mad shit. I've heard at the Grammys. I haven't seen a single clip, so don't really care. I do not care about the Grammys. Those people are just wealthy hypocrites. Like, yeah, you go preach about, you know, how we need to stop deporting illegal aliens, and then afterwards go back to your gated home and armed security. You know, like in gated mansion, I should say, not even home. But yeah, you keep telling us plebs how we should feel about deporting illegals, ripping off the taxpayer and whatnot. Trump announced a trade deal with India after a call with Modi. I'm going to go probably a little long today, guys, just FYI. Maybe not that much longer, though, because I don't even know how many other stories I have. Apparently there's a report that high-level officials in the Biden administration went to work for grant recipients of grants that they sent out. I think we already knew that. I feel like that's a rerun. I thought this is funny too. Just the News is talking about the search warrant at the Georgia warehouse and went over in detail the stuff. That's what we talked about on Friday. You guys are ahead of the curve. Oh, yeah, government's still shut down. How could I can't believe I didn't even start the show off with this. The government is currently shut down right now, unless something's changed in the last hour. Because Friday, the Senate voted on something, but the House did not. They were on vacation still, like a week long, month long. I don't know how long their vacations are. They take one every other week or so. And they just like get the fuck out of Dodge and don't come back until whatever. Because the people's business is important, but it's not more important than their vacations. So how dare we criticize them? But anyway, Anna Paulina Luna, being a real attention whore, is in this kerfuffle with Schumer. And this is me paraphrasing, like this is not the inner workings of the whole thing, but this is how I'm interpreting it. It all comes down to the let me start over. It all comes down to the ICE funding, okay? The shooting, the psyop that took place in Minneapolis, everybody got all pissed off about it from the left. And so the left is like, yeah, we're not going to fund DHS anymore, even though they're funded through 2026. This is discretionary spending things, but it's supposed to be passed in this 1,069 page. Yeah, 1,069. Touche, whoever did that. Page bill, but they wanted to separate out. So they came to an agreement, Schumer and whatever, left and right came to an agreement. We're going to separate out 5 bills. And then the one thing that's left is the DHS discretionary spending, but we're only going to let that go for 2 more weeks. That was the agreement they came to, but it still needs to be voted on by the House. And then Anna Paulina Luna comes back and is like, yo, look at me. We need the SAVE Act in here. And first of all, SAVE Act, not going to save our elections. I think, whatever. It does say save in the name, but I want to point out that it's not really what it's going to do. Okay, it's not actually going to save anything. But they're really adamant, like, we need to get this in there. And so now we may have a prolonged government shutdown, all because Anna Paulina Luna and Chuck Schumer are at odds over the SAVE Act. Anna Paulina Luna is going to make sure that we don't vote on anything until we get that in there. And Schumer's like, anything with the SAVE Act in there is dead on arrival. And so I think how this concludes is they're going to lock Schumer and Anna Paulina Luna into a room. They're going to bang it out, metaphorically, and come to some sort of weird agreement where the SAVE Act is implemented, but the Democrats get all their wish list of fun, whatever. Government shutdown, moral of the story. Probably never getting unshut down. Not for a while anyway. I could probably read what CNN says about it. House Speaker Mike Johnson is back in Washington this week with a tough ask for his fellow Republicans: accept a funding deal that Democrats pushed for or risk another painful, prolonged government shutdown. 2 days after a partial lapse in federal funding, the House returns Monday to prepare a vote that many GOP lawmakers are already dreading. Republicans are under pressure to give final approval to a deal between President Donald Trump and Senate Democrats that temporarily extends Department of Homeland Security funding for over 2 weeks, which, if we're playing the controlled oppo game where it's left versus right, we're cheering for one side or the other. Republicans made a real dumb thing here because there's no way the Democrats are ever going to vote it beyond 2 weeks without giving up an arm or leg. Like, just strategically, like, the story itself is so stupid. But anyway, the final vote is expected as early as Tuesday, which could allow federal workers to avoid feeling any major effects of the shutdown. So if a shutdown happens and nobody feels any major effects, what does that even mean? Did the shutdown take place at all? If a tree falls in the woods, nobody hears it. Did the tree fall at all? But even with Trump endorsing the package, several GOP hardliners are revolting against the idea. One rep, Anna Paulina Luna of Florida, has been adamant. And I'm surprised she doesn't hyphenate her name, honestly. Is Paulina her middle name or her maiden name? Do we know? Anyway, she's been adamant that she will not support any funding deal if it does not include a strict voter ID law, something Senate Democrats would not support. The push by Democrats to enact reforms to ICE practices, blah, blah, blah. GOP senators left town Friday after passing the deal. It's so weird how they do that. Like, so earlier in the week, like Tuesday, the House passed their version of the bill, and then they all left town. And then Friday, Senate votes on it, and then they all left town. And now the House is back to do their work. But I bet by the time they vote on it, if they do, they'll all leave town. It's like nothing can get done because both chambers are like on opposite vacations. Isn't that ridiculous? Anyway, so that's where we're at. Political is another story. Remember, I think it was last week I talked about the couple political stories. I think Ash was the one who was pointing them out too. Over that Gatamanyacha guy. Gatamayaka. The guy, you can't say his name without sounding Indian. Oh yeah, Gatamakala. You can't say it without sounding Indian. But they have another story here. First it was he didn't pass the polygraph the last week of July. The first week of August, he uploaded files to ChatGPT or something against protocol. And now we have a former acting director of CISA saying it's a hot mess. And there's a leadership void. Like, what changes in leadership of an agency just by having somebody go from acting to confirmed? Like, what actually changes in that to what they're doing? Like, if you're an acting leader, like, you still have a leader there. Does getting confirmed change your job duties? Like, is there something not getting done by the acting director of CISA because he's not the confirmed director of CISA? Anyway, there's a weird hit piece op going on against this Gunnar McCullough guy. I haven't decided if I agree with it or not yet. But whatever. Maybe we could end there. Unless you guys want me to talk about anything else. Let's see what the rants say. Then we'll decide whether or not we want to keep going. Keith Higgins, they couldn't handle a free-thinking, independent porn specialist like myself to view and critique the films and then spill the beans on all involved. Oh, funny, Keith. Peyton Pooh, I support Badlands because Badlandia cannot be overcome. Amen. Thank you. Wahlberg Forged, for $5. I've seen cattle farms where the animals were overcrowded, overstressed, and malnourished. The frenzy here is the same as when I gave them a salt block myself. People are dying for something they lack. Man, that's like brilliant, dude. That's a great metaphor for what we're seeing. I feel like there's a lot of really good metaphors you could have with what we see from the truth community these days. That was a really good one. Thank you for that. John in Connecticut for $10 says the salt mines are rich today. John Ward. And there's a clip. Oh, whoops. Let me try to get this link here. What is this? This is 8 years ago?
Salt is a way of life.
Oh, you're talking about me being salty? Is that what we're saying? I got you. I see where you come from. Thank you. 12 Indie Boy for $5. Good to see you, Ty, by the way. Which, hey, every time I think of Ty, I think of Gartz because that's the next time I get to see him. And if you're not going to be there at Gart, you should probably come. Nashville, it's going to be awesome. Badlandsmedia.tv/events. Get your in-person tickets. Your cup will overfloweth with salt. So come join us and fill your cups of salt. 12 Indie Boy, I'm standing firm on the rug that we will see justice and election reform. I just pray it's all in the public eye, not giving people the Rommel death option. I don't even know what is the Rommel death option. Like where they just get to choose to commit suicide or something. The election ones, that's the rug I'm on. I was never on the Epstein rug, which that's why I feel like I can be objective about it. You know what I mean? It's just it's so rare that anybody can actually approach anything with any form of objectivity. And when you do that, the people who aren't approaching the information with objectivity attack you for it. Isn't that so weird? And like some people call that behavior out, but it's very few. Like people in this audience might. But other people out there that are following those things that are also not approaching the information objectively, like celebrate that. It's so weird. And like, there's really no other way to describe it other than like some sort of weird circle jerk. But yes, I am on the election reform rug. I don't think Trump leaves office without fixing that. I don't know what it comes looking like. I don't know how we get there. It's not through the SAVE Act. It's not through the MEGA Act. I don't think Anna Paulina Luna is going to be the one that saves this country. I don't know. But I think it's coming. Lee Walden says, for $5, lest we forget the story about some shenanigans going on with the Inspector General. And Laura Logan, Dr. Scheinbaum. Yeah. I don't know. Not on that rug either. I think the goal is just to, as Chris would say, not to be hoodwinked at all. I think the goal is just to have laminate flooring everywhere. No rugs. That's the goal. Just don't be on the rugs. Avoid the rugs. Every now and then a magic carpet ride's fun. But you want to get off that rug at some point. Just avoid the rugs. Peyton Pooh, adult words are for context. I like that. Peyton Pooh again, get the fudge out of Dodge. RT Joan for $5. If the government is shut down, do the NGO org shut down too? And that's the thing. When they say government shutdown, it's like, it's not really shut down. Like, they funded a lot of this stuff already through the year. It's not a full shutdown. It's a partial shutdown. Like, how much damage can you actually do with a partial? It's not much. It's like discretionary funding for DHS. Like, some people will not get their jobs funded, but others won't. And here's the thing. I am not in favor of any government spending, let alone discretionary spending. Like, what? Discretionary spend? Like, get rid of it all. Shut it all down. But anyway, Lee Walden for $2 says, Article 5 Convention of States is a remedy for a lot of this grift. The Constitution allows for we the people to take this on granted. There's always the negative that people will argue it can't be done. It also could be used inappropriately too. Like, I don't know. I'm not on the Convention of States rug either. I'm currently rugless. Minor foot on the election rug, the RICO rug. But otherwise, I'm rugless, and I'm good with that. Babbage 3, good to see you, Babbage, who's a male, not a female, even though he has boobs after his name. Says the Epstein files release is a good topic for tonight's Baseless. Also, you want to cancel the swear jar? I do not want to cancel. I still want to know what I'm at, because I will do something with that money. If we're over the amount of a guard ticket, I will pay for a guard ticket. We can give that away. Let's keep her going. All right, that's where I'm at. So, guys, I'm going to send you over to Y-Chromes. Unless there's anything else I need to know about. Okay, I think we're good. Not seeing anything like urgent that I need to be aware of. So I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good rest of your... no, fuck that. Mondays suck. You guys have a shitty rest of your Mondays. And I will see you tonight on Baseless Conspiracies at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Go say hi to all the Y-Chromes people sending you their way.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.